Right, hello everyone. Now today's video is an update on a case that I covered a little while ago about a guy called Jesse Butler, a high school athlete from Stillwater, Oklahoma, a connected family, two teenage girls who trusted him, and a justice system that for the last year and a half has made sure that this man, who nearly killed those girls, walks away with nothing. And today's update, it doesn't get any better. August 3rd, 2026, a judge dismissed Jesse's entire criminal case. Completely. And just a reminder, if you haven't seen the video, he actually filmed at least one of the attacks of him strangling a teenage girl until she was unconscious. Yeah, he walks free. He served no time in prison, and he won't be on the sex offenders register. His lawyer is already working on getting his record wiped clean. The justice system has failed the victims and protected the male attacker. Not surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised, I'm just sick of it. I'll briefly take you through the actual story now. Jesse Butler was 16 and 17 when he repeatedly assaulted two former girlfriends, and the investigation produced very serious charges: attempted first-degree rape, rape by instrumentation, sexual battery, forcible oral sodomy, domestic assault, battery by strangulation, and more. 11 counts in total. He was looking at decades in prison. Reports put the maximum around 78 years. And that would have been justice, well, a small bit of it. One of those victims, Kate Sweeney, has since spoken out publicly for the first time.
What made you want to step out of the shadows?
I want to get out there in the world so more people know and more people can protect their children and themselves.
Sweeney says she started dating Butler when she was 16, and she told police that about a month into their relationship, things started to get violent.
She was just 16 when this happened. Jesse strangled her until she blacked out. Doctors told her she was seconds from dying, and there's video of it. Recorded himself choking her unconscious so the sick fuck could watch it back later. And then he sexually assaulted her while she was still recovering from nearly being strangled to death. And he still walked free. The second victim described the same pattern. Pinned down, strangled, assaulted. There were handprint bruises on her neck. Another near-death experience confirmed by medical professionals. So the girls reported what happened, it was investigated, and he was arrested, and there's even body cam footage of his arrest. It brought up a level of rage that I just hadn't felt in a while. And only like partially from him knowing what he'd done. It was his mum. He was charged as an adult in March 2025, and then the system began protecting him. His defense pushed hard for youthful offender status, and eventually the prosecutors agreed and the judge granted it. And in August 2025, Butler pleaded no contest. Now, this is not the same as saying I'm guilty. It's simply I will not fight these charges. And the court found there was a factual basis for every single plea. So instead of prison, he received a rehabilitation plan under the Office of Juvenile Affairs. So that is counselling, community service, daily check-ins, curfew, no social media, a few $1,000s in restitution. So basically a stay out of trouble until you turn 19, and the suspended sentence will vanish. And he stayed out of trouble just long enough. So August 3rd of this year, the final review took place, and the Office of Juvenile Affairs reported no violations. So the case was dismissed. No real justice. Now, if that all wasn't bad enough, what these girls had to go through, and then after a year and a half to receive no justice, Butler's lawyer stood up in that final hearing and spoke as if he was the victim, claiming he was innocent and that the girls had lied, had the nerve to stand there and claim that Jessie had suffered more than the girls. Even the new district attorney, Jeremiah Gregory, who'd only been in office for a few days, he heard those statements and said that it made his blood boil. He called them disingenuous and egregious. Jeremiah Gregory is now referring the entire case to federal authorities. So double jeopardy prevents the state of Oklahoma to actually ever prosecute Butler for these same crimes. So the only remaining criminal path is through the federal system. It is good to see someone in the position like Jeremiah Gregory to actually be looking for some type of justice, because obviously they can't prosecute him for these crimes. So there will never be real justice. But hopefully if this does go through, there will be something. But right now, the victims are just left with the wreckage of this all. Kate Sweeney has said that this has flipped her entire world upside down, and it's not something that you can just erase and forget about. Her parents said that they were led to believe that there would be a real guilty plea and meaningful consequences. Instead, they watched a no contest plea and home supervision, community service, and counselling for strangling a girl nearly to death and raping her. Doing it to two girls. This should make anyone absolutely furious. A 17-year-old charged with repeated violent sexual assault and strangulation that left clear physical proof of near death received the softest possible landing because of his age and his parents' status. The system bent over backwards to hand him a clean slate. He doesn't even have to register as a sex offender. That means future partners, future communities, and future victims will have no prior warning. And his lawyer is already talking about expungement. The victims get lifelong trauma, lost high school years, constant fear, surgery, public scrutiny, and the knowledge that the man who did this to them is free and unmarked, and was allowed to stand in court while his lawyer painted them as the problem. When I covered this case earlier, it was already so infuriating. The youthful offender deal was already an outrage. The suspended sentence was already an outrage. People were already protesting outside the courthouse, and this final ruling is just another slap in the face to the victims. The state case is over. The attacker has aged out, and the law says that the court's hands are tied. So the system simply moves on. They're trying to paint it as rehabilitation for him. It's simply, from the very beginning, it was protection. And the message the system just sent is very, very clear. If you are a connected white teenage male who commits life-threatening sexual violence against girls, we will find a way to soft land you. We will call it youthful offender status. We will let the clock run out so we can dismiss the case. We will allow your lawyer to rewrite the story in the final hearing. And the girls, they can go to therapy and file a civil suit if they still have the strength. I am angry. You should be too. The victims deserved a trial, or a real guilty plea with time in prison. They deserved a sex offender who has to register so other women and girls can protect themselves. They deserved a system that puts their safety first That's the bare minimum. This is what they receive? Double jeopardy now shields him from any further state prosecution. So the only hope left is a federal review and civil court. But that won't be justice. That would just be damage control after the system has already failed the victims. If this doesn't make your blood boil, there is something very, 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 very wrong with you. Please share this video and get this case out there. We need to be talking more about these failures in the system. We really need to start demanding better laws that stop these violent sex offenders from aging out of consequences. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. No, it's not a nice one to hear about, but it's very important that we know just how protected a lot of these violent criminals are. Well, I feel like it's known, it's not exactly hidden, but we need to just be louder about it. Now, we cannot accept this. I'm going to continue to follow this whole thing. Hopefully, something does come from the federal review or civil case, and the girls can get some type of justice, or there could be some type of consequences for Butler. Though I don't know exactly what that will look like at this point. Just something would be nice, maybe a bit of street justice. But anyway, I'll do an update if one ever comes. But yeah, like, subscribe if you want, but mainly share and get this story out there. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please share. And I will see you in the next one.